Hi guys. So talking about travel today. When you travel, there are like two things that you always have to sort out first. One is your travel to the destination. The second thing is accommodation. And this is something that I realized in my last trip to Scotland, and this is what I want to talk about, which is hotel versus BnB. So I am very bad in booking these things because I always go for the most expensive option that I can afford or that I can find in that area. And when we went to Scotland, so this is last September, and we stayed one night in Edinburgh, and then from there we were going with the tour. So they booked the accommodation for the rest of it, but for that first day I booked the accommodation, and I booked like proper nice rooms in a Premier Inn. Premier Inn is usually my hotel of choice because it's not very expensive, but it is quite nice. And this time I'd been to Edinburgh before. I had lived in the hub by Premier Inn, and that was kind of like very automated and everything very electronic and nice. A small room, but very nicely appointed. I loved it. I mentioned that in my review as well. Oh, I've never published that, so I'll publish that article. But yeah, so I love that in that as well. And I went for Premier Inn again because, if you liked it once. But this time I didn't like it very much because it was not the hub, but it was still very automated and electronic. Let me tell you a very quick story. When I used to teach computers, and let's say in 1999, by this time I already had like about 4 years of experience teaching computers, and I had gotten quite good. So when there was lab room, so lab room is American, so what's practical, we used to call it practical sessions. So imagine that a big room, the four walls, and then along two walls computers, about like 10, and about 10 students, sometimes more, maybe 12, 14 students, some of them sharing, and each one is practicing, they're all practicing something that I have taught them in the theory session. And they would naturally run into issues and have questions. So only me supervising all of these students. So whenever somebody asks, like, then it's my job to go answer the question as quickly as possible, and then go to the next one, because there will always be somebody raising their hand and asking, excuse me, sir, this is happening, and all that. So I got good enough with that if somebody asked me over, I could go look at the screen, and by the time I arrived at that, like within a split second, I would know what the problem was and what the solution was, and I would give them right away, like, do this thing. And they would say, no, sir, what's happening is, like, they would still go and tell me the problem, and then what I would do, I would repeat the same solution that I gave them as soon as I arrived, and this time they would accept it, and they would go on doing it. So that way I realized that I have to first listen to their problem, because until I listen, they don't think that I know what's going on, even though I do. So instead of telling them that, dude, I know what's happening, come on, just listen to me blindly and do it, I just stopped giving the answer and then waited a few seconds until they could explain the problem, and then gave them the answer. I knew the answer all along. Okay, the same kind of feeling I got when we got to Premier Inn, because there are like a couple of machines where you can check in, and then it will give you the card key, and everything will be sorted out automatically. But there are a couple of people who are there, like clerks or reception clerk kind of duties, but their whole job is to help us, to guide us through that automated process. That's all. So and because they have already heard all the questions, they know all the answers, so they know what to say at each step. So even if you ask them something, it's going to be something they have already heard like maybe 10,000 times. So I felt kind of like that kind of situation where I was being guided through things, and then they would probably get rid of those guys later on, and just leave the machines there, because everybody will be trained in the use of those machines by that time, or maybe leave one person to guide. So that was all right, not like a usual good experience, even though they used to use computers even then, or in other hotels they do. It was not really a good experience. Felt very like a rat through the maze, or like a chicken in the coop. kind of thing. And that same thing when we went to the rooms. So I had my own room, and it was huge. We all had our own rooms, and my room was quite big because I had booked a big room. Huge big bed as well. I will show you the pictures. I took the pictures and a video, so I'll show you that. Okay, here are my first thoughts on the Premier Inn York Place in Edinburgh. It's quite a nice room. I booked a family room, or I think you would call it double room, although they list it as family room, just for myself because I like to be comfortable. And as you can see, it's quite a nice big bed. It looks comfortable. It's a nice big sofa there as well. Okay, there's a desk with lots of space. Well, not lots of space, but you can see. Some implements for making tea or coffee. The TV, I have not turned it on yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's a smart TV which you can connect to your phone and watch your Netflix or whatever you like. This is the only closet that's available in the room, meaning just a few hangers on a rod. Big mirror, which is good, not full length, but still I think it'll be good enough to get ready. And this is drawers for, like dirty socks and stuff. As you would notice, there is a lamp light on both sides, but there are no power points. There are no power sockets anywhere on either side of the bed. So if, like me, you like to charge your phone and still have it handy during the night, then you can't do that. You would have to plug that in somewhere near here, near the TV. There are 4 plugs here, but 3 actually. But no, none near the bed. There are a couple of them here as well. Okay. Let's look at the bathroom. The bathroom is quite nice. It's got a nice space. Although this thing, cheap. Hand body gel, not the bottles. It's just a dispenser. It says gentle soap here above the wash basin. It's alright. There was only one bath towel there, which is also quite thin, and well, I would not use it if I didn't have to, kind of thing. And there are absolutely no hand towels in here. So on the whole, and you can see that this is like the dispenser is full of these. So these are like single sheets, not the roll. So basically it's a nice spacious one, and you can see some of the things are quite well thought out, but it does give you a feeling like a kind of like a cheap feeling for an expensive room. For example, like they want you to be in and out, just use the space, get out so that the next person can move in, and they provide you the basic minimum that you would use. I don't get a feeling of any an old-fashioned welcome to our inn kind of feeling. While it was a fantastic room, very nice room, big windows, curtains, everything nice, good quality, it still had that very antiseptic feeling that you get in places like corporate kind of places, corporate kind of feel. So you got that kind of feeling. And I don't know if you know this one. There's this TV show called Yes Minister, based on a book. So I've read the books and I've watched the TV series as well. And there's one episode that always sticks out at me. And this is where the minister James Hacker is talking about a hospital, and his civil secretary, what's his name? Humphreys, I think. Yeah, Sir Humphreys. And they're having an argument about it. And this happens in the whole episode, that Sir Humphrey said, like, the hospital runs so smoothly, sir. It's got so many rooms, it's got so many beds, it's running perfectly. We won awards for running smoothly. Why? What's your problem? And then the James Hacker minister goes and like, but there are no patients. And somebody like, what's that got to do? They will just mess everything up. So this is the kind of feeling that I got in there was that we were there, like just ring the cash register kind of thing, you know. So everything is there, all subtle. Just come in, sleep, get up, go, you know, like a time lapse kind of thing. That's the feeling I got. Okay, now contrast that with the feeling that we got when we went to the Isle of Skye. So in Isle of Skye, we stayed in Scotland. We stayed in BnBs because they had booked it, and they were nice BnBs. So the touring company, what was it called, Robbie's had booked it. Very nice touring company, by the way. I should do a review on just alone on them. They're fantastic. And they had booked the accommodation. So this is in the Isle of Skye itself, and I can't remember the name of the BnB now, but I think they pretty much are the same in character. So wonderful place. It feels a bit weird when you get in because it feels like somebody's home. But when you actually get settled in an hour or so, that same thing feels so amazing because it's like this is the stairs and there's a sign on the stairs. It says something like, come in as a customer, leave as a friend, something like that. I've taken a picture of that. I'll have to find it because it was like somebody's home, very well appointed, well furnished. So there's a guitar there's something else there. So smaller rooms, big contrast that the rooms were very small. Mine had like a sloping roof, like an attic kind of thing. So I could not stand straight up in all the room, like half the room I could. And then the bathroom also very small, but everything very clean, very usable. They give you all the, you know, the towels and everything. So everything very clean, nice, but small. It doesn't feel like, you know, luxury and all that, but feels like quite comfort. Yeah, I think that's the comparison that between luxury and comfort. So it was all comfortable. And when we went for breakfast next morning, oh my God, we went crazy in that little room because there were so many nice things, little decoration, little pieces on the window, and we wanted to take pictures of everything. And some of us, Harsha, wanted to, like, you know, pick up the guitar and play and then touch things and all that. And there were some instruments because the people who owned that, they or their family members, they used to play those instruments. And the hostess that we had, she was like a replacement hostess. So our hostess was not available because she had some illness in the family. She had to go to the hospital. But this replacement host, she was great. We found out she was even better than the normal hostess in Livid, but they were both great. So it felt like you're being a guest in somebody's house, and then they are asking you, like, what do you want for breakfast? There's all kind of cereal, there's tea, coffee, butter. Everything is there, and which you can get in a hotel as well. But there's this homely touch which makes you feel like, oh yes, this is the life. It doesn't make you feel like, come on, let's have some coffee and then go out into the city. You feel like you can just stay there. I felt like I should just go there and live in a BnB for like a month and then just sit and stare at the sea and write a book. No, you could not look at the sea from where we were, from that particular BnB, but the sea was like very close. You could walk. And there were benches at there as well, near the sea. But this is the feeling that we got. So got some pictures from there as well, and very, very nice, very fun. And price wise, it was slightly cheaper than the Premier Inn, and not very cheap. I think it was about 70 quid a night. And so it's not very cheap, but if you go to London, you're gonna find the same thing. And Skye is very touristy, so lots of people go there, and I can see why, because it's beautiful. It is fantastically beautiful. You just want to go crazy with the camera there, in the town itself and all around. So the bridges and the ocean, everything. So yeah, that's the comparison I wanted to show you and share with you. That sometimes instead of going for the most expensive option, it might be a good idea to go for a more comfortable option. And these days there's not much risk in that, because there are always all these reviews on TravelAdvisor and Expedia and TripAdvisor. Oh yeah, TripAdvisor, not TravelAdvisor. So there are all these reviews available, and you can read them and take some of them with a grain of salt, but you can go and try them out. So this was really a good experience based on that. The other one that I was thinking about, the Airbnb, I've never tried that yet, but I'm afraid to try that because they are, there are lots of bad reviews about that as well, and some horror stories about them. So I don't even read the news and I know the horror stories. So I am a little bit scared to try that. But BnBs, yeah, I would recommend that if you're going to some place like this, especially if you're going to Scotland, a place like this. Scottish people are so wonderful. So like, do you want more cereal? Do you want more tea? All right, it's okay, I can make toast. So I'm trying to do a Scottish accent, like a Scottish female accent, but I'm absolutely failing. But they were so wonderful. So Scottish people are generally nice, but if you are like a guest in their home, you get the actual feeling of being a guest, not a customer, but a guest. So highly recommended. That's about it. That's all I'm going to talk about. It's too long for just this short discussion. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.